what are you expecting from Paulo? Just because we haven't seen him in so long. We haven't seen him since August of 2022 when he fought Luke Rockhold in Salt Lake. And of course, he was supposed to fight in October. He gets hurt. What kind of Paulo are you expecting to see?
Much the same Paulo we've always seen. He's going to be a power puncher. He's a powerful kicker. He's strong. He's big. He's tough. I expect the best version of himself. I'm not making any mistakes on underestimating opponents ever again. So I'm preparing for an absolute dogfight. I'm preparing for a war, for 15 minutes of violence. So in saying that, I'm training myself to death.
Oh, wow.
I'm coming in ready, mate. And I'm looking forward.
California State Athletic Commission will be proposing a rule change this week for what constitutes a grounded opponent in an MMA fight. As per Ariel Helwani, current executive director of the California State Athletic Commission, Andy Foster, is looking to change one of the biggest gray areas in the unified rules of MMA. According to the newly proposed definition of a grounded opponent, if someone has 2 feet and both palms on the ground, they can still be hit, unless their knee, elbow, or any other part of the body is on the mat too. In addition to this controversial rule, Andy Foster is also proposing to abolish the polarizing 12-6 elbow rule, currently an illegal strike made famous by John Jones in his fight versus Matt Hamill, which he lost by disqualification.
Isn't it weird when you watch Duplessis and then it kind of makes sense? That's what happened for me. When I watched him fight Robert Whittaker, for so long I felt like, well, what's his plan? Like, what's he doing? Like, is he just freestyling? It made sense in the Whittaker fight. I was like, okay, now I can see. I have a better understanding of what he's doing. Now I know that he has a purpose and he's doing things in a way that he intends to do them. Last weekend, it was even on more display. And I feel like that's why you go, okay, now I appreciate Drakus, because now it kind of becomes clear to you, wow, this dude really does or has developed a fighting style that works for him. And he can do it against the best in the world. Now, to your question, anytime you have a guy like Israel Adesanya, who's held the belt for so long, and a belt that moved from Anderson for so long, a belt that never changes hands, you start to see that division as a division that has stability. It hasn't had that since Izzy lost the belt. The belt has moved, like you said, between 4 people now in a matter of 2 years. It's hard to say when you still look at Drakus and you think, what style is going to be good for him? I think so many people before would have said Khamzat Chimaev is going to be the guy that's going to bring stability. But then when you watch Drakus wrestle last weekend against Sean Strickland, it doesn't seem like Khamzat's going to be able to just take him down. Bro, he is massive for the weight class.
Yes.
He has a fighting style that is so hard to game plan against. He looks like a guy that could reign for a long time. But even in saying that, RC, I would not be surprised if it continues to be a hot potato, just like the light heavyweight belt. It seems like nowadays there is more changeover in champions than we've seen in a really long time.
Honestly, I don't even really look at that last fight as anything. It was literally 4 years ago. I was a whole different fighter. And the only thing you really could tell from each other is the strength. And you could feel him. And, I felt a lot stronger than him. You could say, I felt distance, speed, yada, but it's like a lot of stuff changes in 4 years. Mm-hmm. The guys that I fought since then, I've had to go through so many different styles of a striker and Wonder Boy, a grappler and Maya, Gilbert Burns, Luke A, Sean Brady. Like, I've had to go with all these different styles, and every one of those camps that I go through, it makes me a better version of myself. So I think now when he goes in there with me, it's going to be a whole different fighter, a whole different person. So if he's looking at that fight like, oh man, it's going to be a continuation, he's going to be in for a rude awakening.
When I saw it was at 135, I was shocked because, Kayla Harrison, big for a 155-pound division at PFL, and she got it, and I think she's been great there. She's been tremendous. But I know she's made 145 before. I think it was tough for her. I think 135 is going to really suck the life out of her. And it's not the best move. And I guess I'm speaking from personal experience, because when I went down to 125, although I did it and I still had a pretty decent camp, I just didn't perform at my best. And I think Kayla is really used to being like such a big, strong woman that she won't have that on her side. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to benefit her with somebody like Holly, who really does move so well. I mean, she really has some of the best footwork in the women's divisions. And I think that's going to be tough for Kayla. I mean, and I'm pumped for Kayla. I mean, I'm excited for her to come over here. I think it's going to be really good. But if you're asking me who I think is going to win that fight, looking at it right now, I would say Holly.
That's your boy? You about to get punched on. That's your Brazilian brother. If it get ugly, you come in here like Herb Dean and you save him.
Tony Ferguson released a statement saying, "A week before Thanksgiving, I f***ed my shit up during a practice. It was a MCL tear. I kept it to myself and put it behind me till after the fight. I trained like no one knew. Shit hurt so good. 3 weeks before fight time, told a few of my crew. Nothing changed. I recently took care of my leg, had surgery last Thursday, 1 week after my elbow surgery. Thought I would get them both done and double down, got it over with, so I can do what I do best. Beyond rage is an understatement. I feel no despair, just repair."